Okay, we are going to do this video a little bit different because I felt like this question was only going to be answered if I gave enough visual for you guys to see. And we're going to break it up. So we are going to the beauty supply store today. We are also going to be looking at different hair types today. Well, densities. And that was what I responded back to her about. So she wanted to see different hair textures with different braid patterns and hairstyles. Now, when we want to do crochets, there are three things that we want to consider. We want to consider the density of the person's hair, the type of crochets that they are getting to determine the actual braid pattern. Your braid pattern is going to change for pretty much every hairstyle versus a density of hair. So if you have stuck to just one crochet pattern, you're missing out on so much that you could be having with a crochet. And on top of that, depending on if this is something that you are doing back to back, you don't want to keep doing the same crochet braid pattern back to back because that's going to cause damage. So you want to switch them up. You don't want to do the exact same pattern. Now, for this video, we are going to be talking about density of hair where they are on the thinner side and people that have different hair conditions. The next video, we're going to talk about people that are on the average side and the thicker hair. So that way you guys can kind of see the difference and see where you line up at, because everybody is going to be on a different scale depending on what you're doing, as far as you doing the service for someone or you getting it done yourself or you doing it for yourself. It's going to be different. So today, let's talk about the thinner hair. Now, when I say thinner hair, I mean hair that is to the point where you can see their scalp through their hair, not where they are having a scalp condition, because that is different. Someone that has things like lupus, or if they have scarring alopecia, if they have alopecia areata, like they have different things going on, that's going to be different from someone that is on the thinner side with their hair. So people that are on the thinner side with their hair has always been like this for the most part of their life. This hasn't been a recent issue and things like that. So if that person, you already know this is just how their hair is, you want to make sure that you are keeping the integrity of the hair as much as possible, as well providing coverage in their crochet style. And for people that have lupus and different scalp conditions going on, you want to not only think coverage, but you also want to think as far as strength. They are dealing with an issue where strength is the most important part to pay attention to. Even though they have areas that are very shallow or balding, you want to go for the stronger areas of their hair to create your braid pattern. If you go for a typical pattern and you just like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and the way that their hair is, their strength is not in that spot, you could have pulled out what they had left in that area. That can be detrimental to a person that is already going through hair loss. Now, before you say it, because I know a lot of y'all have your opinions about people that wear braids when they are having alopecia and different scalp conditions. However, y'all say that there's a problem about everything. If a person is wearing a wig, the wig did it. If a person is wearing a quick weave, the quick weave did it. So technically, if these styles are done with a person who has the knowledge to do it properly, they will be perfectly fine. This is why I had chose to actually master all braiding and natural hair services, because for one, I want to make sure that I'm able to provide what my client needs, not technically what they want. So if this person is in an issue like this where there is no strong areas for us to really work with, or there is no way for us to get it where it is going to be a wise option for them, I would be able to offer them a natural hair service where we could either do things like 2-strand twist, stuff like that, to put under a wig that is a removable wig. So you can give them other options if you learn other techniques instead of being focused on just one way. the entire time. Think about it for yourself. If you are going through that, would you want to be out here where you feel so exposed in that area? This is a very sensitive topic for people, and you have to be respectful in that area too. So that's as well as thinking of your braid pattern. You want to make sure that you are giving them the most coverage, and on top of that, thinking about the integrity of their hair, and you choosing something that you can braid down where you are not so tight. You do not want to braid anything tight when you are dealing with people that are experiencing alopecia and things like that. Now, as far as the covering their hair to find the right pattern, they're different. So if a person is experiencing hair loss in the front, you want to create a pattern where it is not being pulled back, it is going down. So that way they would be able to angle braids going forward to cover that area. And then if it is a person where they are experiencing issues in the middle, you want to make sure that you are creating a net with your braids, so that way you can actually get coverage in that area. So for people that for people that don't like nets, you can create a net with your braiding. This is why I'm saying braiding patterns can be very easy and very complex. It just depends on the person and who you are trying to serve at that time. So you want to make sure that you are doing the right one for the right reasons and for the right person. So if we're already seeing that the person here is on the thinner side, we want to think coverage. So if we want to think coverage, we want to think of braids going this way. Because if we have braids going this way, it's going to be harder for you to create coverage where they're not seeing the scalp, okay? And not only is your braid down going to be going this way, you also want to think about the type of crochet hair they are getting. So if they are getting crochet hair where it is thinner and things like that, it's not gonna be as much coverage, even though you made the braids go this way. So let me go ahead and take you guys over to the beauty supply store so that way we can see what I mean by different types of thickness for the actual crochet braids. Now, when you guys are getting crochet braid hair, I always tell my clients to get it on Amazon because you're going to get a better deal. Looking at spending anywhere from $70 to $100 on hair. And because this is going to be something that is supposed to be a temporary solution, like this is something for just a month, 4 weeks, you could have gotten that pack of hair for possibly $25 to $30 on Amazon. Now, okay, so when I say thinner hair, I am looking at things that are like the feather twists and things like that. Those are very skinny. They're very, very skinny. So if you made the person's braids go this way and you left them completely spaced, we're going to have a problem. You may have to switch the hair type at this point. So now we're going to be looking into things that are like the loose hair crochets. When I say loose hair crochets, I mean things that are like this, where it comes where it's all together and it's not by a loop. Loop is like the pre-loop crochets. When I say pre-loop, that's what I mean, where it got the little bulb on it and you just have that piece. You can get that where it is loose hair crochets, but typically the ones that have the pre-loop on it, it has this little rubber band that slides. And depending on whose hair you are doing, if that rubber band pops, they out here with pieces of hair missing. So make sure that you're paying attention to how that person is. If this person has no clue how to be able to do things for their hair, it's better to just do the loose hair crochet. It does take more time to install. However, that person will be more secure in that hairstyle and they will feel better coming back to you because you didn't give them something that they have to go manage. So loose hair crochets are less, they are less weight, but at the same time, they are very full. You can get this and make a person where they have a full over fro, they could have a bob cut, they could have a long flowy look, It's just so many different possibilities that you can get with the loose hair because they come in different curl patterns. You could have it where it's like a kinky curly, you could have a spiral curl, you could have a wave, you could have a body wave, you could have a crinkle look. It's so many different ones that can go for this type of person, and it'll still give them coverage. And you can do the illusion way as well, where you can do it around the edges. And if that person has more of a space in between their braids, you can do the illusion section. You can do the illusion parts in the middle of each layer so it covers that area without giving them too many braids, that it's still protecting the integrity of their hair. That is the ultimate goal. So you want to make sure that you're choosing the right options for them. As well, they will be able to do things like the short series. The short series are very, very easy for people that are doing this at home, and they want it where they don't have to do any cutting and have to really make sure that they got everything even and all of that. You would want to go for a short series because it's very easy to install. It's already cut to the lengths that you need, and it's good to go pretty much. You don't have to worry about your parts looking super perfect because they're so full that they're going to cover pretty much anything. I have done these hairs using covering locks, covering alopecia, covering if I just did a bogus braid on myself and I just wanted something cute. I'll show you one of those too. Like I used to do where I would pull it up and I would do some fat twists in my hair, and I would just button my twists and I would sew them down, and it'd be like a ball of twists just sitting here, and I would just crochet the hair over it. It's that good that the base does not have to be perfect. That's what I love about these. They're and the fact that they're just super light. So if you have alopecia, thinning hair, and things like that, you want to stick to the loose hair crochets and the crochets that are very, very light or very, very short. I typically tell anyone that has the thinner hair, no box braids. And it's because it's very hard to find a set of box braid crochets that are not heavy. There is a set with Y wigs, but it is a human set of hair for the box braids, and those are really light. They are very expensive too. So it depends on where your pocket's at on what you want to do for that. But I don't think it's, to me, I don't think it's worth it. But you have people that want to wash their crochet braids and rewear them. So if that's you, yeah, go for the human ones. And that way you're washing it, you're reusing it. And at the same time, it's still human and it's going to look somewhat decent. I don't recommend washing the synthetic ones. But that's it on the thinner hair. If this has helped you guys and you really like this type of content, do leave a heart below. If you guys know what type of crochet that you liked out of these, leave the brand below on which one you really liked more. And I will see you guys in the next part where we do the thicker hair series.